Hello everyone and welcome to the Superhero Chronicles, and I'm going to be reviewing the 2009 animated movie Wonder Woman. Let's waste no time, let's get right into it. Now I'm recording this review shortly after viewing this thing for the first time, so a lot of this is pretty much a first impression. So let's waste no time, let's get into it. Right off the bat, this movie is really good, very solid movie. I like it a lot. I like the cast. Kerry Russell as Wonder Woman does a fantastic job. Nathan Fillion as Steve Trevor is hilarious and also has a lot of cool, dramatic scenes, especially with Wonder Woman, especially when he and Wonder Woman bicker about, the sexism of men and women and stuff like that, which I thought was okay. Virginia Madison plays Hepatolia, and she's also really good. Rosario Dawson's in this thing, and she plays this character called Artemis. And I actually like the character of Artemis. She's like this pure, thoroughbred Themysciran warrior, take no shit, bad ass, to the point where she calls one of her own sisters of Themyscira a coward because she refuses to go into battle. And she's also pretty much Themyscira's bodyguard and advisor to the Queen, which also gives her character a lot of great importance, which is great. Really well done. Of course, and you got Tara Strong as his character called Alexis, who is this weak. Well, she's not really weak, but she's not a warrior. She's like a philosopher, and she also has a pretty good character because she's kind of like this. How can I put it? This shining soul in a warrior nation. She's the one that would rather learn instead of go out and fight. So she's something like a warm soul in a way. Then you have Alfred Molina as Ares, who is awesome. Alfred Molina, of course, is a phenomenal actor, and him as Ares is a inspired choice, especially really inspired choice. And I just like his whole character. I like the way he's written. He's this unstoppable badass who is going to do nothing, who will let nothing stop him from taking down Themyscira for what they did to him in the opening prologue, which is just this 5-minute plus amazing fight scene between Ares' armies and the Themysciran Amazons, which ends with the Queen decapitating her and Ares' son named Thrax, which in turn leads to the imprisonment of Ares. Of course, there's a lot more to that, but that's just the general gist of it. And of course, that whole thing with Wonder Woman being shaped from the sand and Zeus giving life to the sand, creating Wonder Woman. Really well done, straight out of the books, done really well. I like how they're mixing in the Greek origin of Wonder Woman and a little bit of her original origin from her initial conception, which is good. It's really well done and nicely molded into this thing. So in terms of the principal cast, got 0 to no complaints. The action scenes, like I said, that opening prologue is fantastic, but the other action scenes in this movie are also pretty well done too. There's this good scene where Wonder Woman and Steve Trevor are on the hunt for Ares, and they go to his little fortress. And there's a little fight scene. They have a little good fight scene with some demon, which is good. There's also this scene. It's a pretty funny scene where Steve and Wonder Woman are walking down to an alley after they're coming out of a bar, where Steve is trying to get Diana drunk, but Steve being human and Wonder Woman having Amazonian peak physical thing, conditioning, cannot get drunk. He gets drunk. And it's hilarious. And the whole bar scene's hilarious, but I'll go into grave detail about it. And that whole alley scene is funny and also awesome because you get to see Diana just destroy these guys. It's fun to look at. And of course, that whole last few minutes where you got this big epic battle between Ares, who had raised the dead Amazonians to take on Wonder Woman and the Themyscirans. It's a good knock 'em dragging out war, and I thought it was really well done. And Ares' overall plot to take over Olympus and destroy Themyscira. Though there's a lot more to his plot, but that's just the general gist of his plot. It's not bad. It's good. You know, it holds the movie together. It gives us a reason for this movie to have this movie some meaning. But what it also does is that it creates a kind of a character change for Diana. She was brought up thinking that all men are like scum, they can't be trusted, and blah 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 because of Ares. But when she meets Steve Trevor, that whole perception changes because Steve Trevor is a guy who, yes, is like a typical man, but he's not the worst of men. He actually saves Diana from death. Of course, Diana scolds him, but once, and that whole hospital scene, which I really, really like, where Diana and Steve are just yelling at each other back and forth about, I'm a woman, blah, 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 blah. And Steve's like, not all men are blah, 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 blah. It's a really, really well-written scene, really well-acted scene. To me, it's Nathan Fillion's best scene in the whole movie is that hospital scene, because it really gets to like do some good dramatic acting, and it sounds really natural, and which I do like a lot, which is really, really good. So yeah, now I do get some complaints about here and there. Well, the overall story is not bad. It's not really all that engaging. Like, you could have wanted something more. Though I do like Alfred Molina as Ares. I don't know. I think I kind of wanted maybe just a little bit more, maybe a tad more. I would have liked to have seen more of like this, very subtle rivalry going on between him and his uncle Hades, who was voiced by Oliver Platt. Which I would love to have seen how that rivalry play out, because Hades' character pretty much has Ares' son Thrax under his control since Thrax is dead. He went to the underworld, Tartarus. For all you Greek people like myself, he has his son under control. So I would have liked to have seen more of that, because I think that would have been pretty really, really, really cool. But I also like that it gave Ares some humanity, because just that whole scene, you can clearly tell that he loves and cares for his son, and he hates the fact that his son has to be subservient to his uncle Hades. I would have loved to have seen how more of that play out. It is what it is. But I do like the overall ending of the movie, where the Amazonians and the outside world, man's world, unite with a common bond, which I thought was good. Wraps up the movie in a nice little bow. Diana gets to go back to be with Steve, and the movie ends with Diana going into battle to take on Cheetah, which we don't see because that's where you do that superhero shot. End credits. So yeah, overall, I'm gonna give this movie a solid 8 out of 10. Well animated, well acted, and for the most part, solid, decent story. So yeah, that is my take on the animated movie of Wonder Woman. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll check you back next time for more.